So go ahead and put your name at the top. Remember, you can use your workbook. You can use, I'm not sure. I'll take your phone though, Kelsey. So this is where your name goes. You're going to turn this in tomorrow. And you can use this as well as your workbook on the quiz. So first of all, when we're simplifying an expression and it asks you to multiply, and they say y times, let's say -4. How would I simplify this? How would I write this? How would I write this? Well, when we said a number times x, we would just put that in front of it, right? So we could write this as -4y. So if you were given 2 times y, how would you write it? Well, it's just a 2, so we would just say 2y, right? So that's how we would simplify those things. Then we're going to be talking about combining like terms, which is what we'll do down here. But the other thing you need to remember how to do is to distribute. So that is like these problems down here. So I will want to do a couple of these together. I want to do maybe 1, 2 of these together, but we're going to show our work. So you're only going to need 2 crayons, a green crayon for all of this section, and a purple or an orange or a red or a blue, just one of those colors. Does that make sense? So you don't need one of each of those, you just need to choose one of those colors. So if you want to grab one of those right now, there's crayons there, there might be some colored pencils or markers back there. I'm not sure. I know those that have been out are kind of few and far in between. Oh, sorry about that. That way, when I'm coloring in, you can color yours in too, similarly, and practice along with us. It doesn't have to be a perfect green. I know there's like a light green, a bluish green, whatever shade of green is totally fine. Just be sure your second color isn't too similar to it, if that makes sense. So the first thing I notice here in number 1 is that I have a plus between these two things. So if we have a plus between them, do our parentheses matter? No, it doesn't matter at all, right? We do not have to distribute a negative through like we do when we have a subtraction sign in front of it. So I think you guys did really well when we wrote them below there. We have a 5x. And then don't forget to bring down that negative with the 7. So if we're combining like terms, we can only combine our variable terms with each other. So 7 plus 5 is what? What's 7 plus 5? 12x. And then I have 3 minus 7. What's 3 minus 7? Guys, if you're still struggling with your integers, adding and subtracting them, you might want a calculator. So what's 3 minus 7? Not just 4, but -4, right? Because our bigger number was negative. So 12x minus 4. I'm looking for that over here. And it's down here, and I'm gonna color that green. All right, quick and easy. So number 2 is very similar, except we're subtracting expressions. When we subtract expressions, we have to rewrite the first one. So we have 5x minus 7. And now we have to take the opposite. We are multiplying or distributing through by a negative. What's the opposite of negative 2x? Positive 2x, right? What's the opposite of positive 6? Negative 6. So now, if you want to, you can move them over, or you can look at your variable terms. They're both positive, so if I combined them, I could draw out a picture if I needed to, right? 3, 4, 5. Those are all positive x's plus 2 more, so I have a total of how many x's? 7. And then I've got negative 7 and negative 6. So when our signs are the same, we find the sum. What's 7 plus 6? 13, but in this case, it's got to be negative. So we're going to look for 7x minus 13 and color that green. I'm going to do a couple more of these examples, and then I'm going to do a couple with the distribution, okay? So one more subtracting, one more adding, and then you should be able to, I was looking at the 8th graders quiz. You will not be able to do that. And then you should be able to pretty much do everything on the quiz. All right. So we're going to keep the first, right? Because I notice right away we have to distribute that negative through. So we've got negative 3x plus 9. The negative, if you think of negative as being the opposite of something, what's the opposite of 2x? Negative 2x. And what's the opposite of negative 7? Positive 7. So I do need to put a plus there because these terms are being combined. So I'm combining what with negative 3x? What can I combine with negative 3x? What's the other variable term? Be careful that you're including the sign in front of it. It's negative. So when our signs are the same, we find the sum of our coefficients. What's 3 plus 2? 5, but in this case it's negative 5, and we can't forget to put the x there because both of these terms were being multiplied by x. And now we just have the rest. Our constants are just our numbers. We can't combine them with this variable term, but we can combine them with each other. What's 9 plus 7? 16, and what do I need between my variable term and my constant? A plus, because that 16 was positive. All right, so then I'm looking for that negative 5x plus 16. Where are you? Here it is, way down here next to the 12x minus. All right. So do you see that there is work to be shown here? Hopefully. Now remember, with our plus, we don't have to change our signs, right? We have to keep everything the same. So we're combining our 5x with our 11x. And I'm just showing this, moving them over so that I can see what are like terms and can be combined. So these are both positive. So if I had 11x and then 5 more, how many total x terms do I have? What's 11 plus 5? 16x. And here are my constants. 3 minus 9. Well, my signs are different, so I find the difference. So big minus little. 9 minus 3 is 6. My bigger number is negative, so I need a negative sign there. So I'm going and looking for that 16x minus 6. That might be the trickiest part, hopefully, right? And if you don't find it, you might have done it wrong, right?
I found it.
Where's it at?
It's like really cool.
Oh, right here? Yeah, they're all pretty close there. Nice. All right, so we did those 4. We have a couple more. I wonder if there's like multiple of them because it doesn't seem like there's enough squares.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we won't have to do as many problems. Okay. But anywhere we see those, we can color them green. Good. I was like, there are way too many of these to be a 1-to-1 correlation here, right? So there's at least 2 for every one, maybe more, I don't know. All right, now let's remember how we distribute, because there will be a problem that looks a lot like 20, but just that you have to distribute. Okay, so if you can do number 20, you can do something simpler than that, right? So when we have a number touching, that's what we're multiplying both of these terms by. What's 3 times x? 3x. What's 3 times 2? 6, and it is positive. There's no x here, right? It's not being multiplied by x. Now we're combining that with this. Is there anything we have to distribute through there? Nope. So we can just write plus 4x minus 7. So now if you'd like to, you can move your 4x over here and your negative 7 over here, or you can think about it. I like to circle mine. I've got, these are like terms, so I can combine them. 3 plus 4 is 7, and they're both being multiplied by x, so I can't forget my x there. And 6 minus 7 is what? Negative 1. So that is as simplified as this expression can get. Now, these are your other color there. So I'm going to take my other color crayon and color everything that's 7x minus 1 in that color. Cool. Okay, so this next one is very similar, except there's one extra step to it. I notice instead of a plus, like number 20, there's a minus here. So we would distribute. So what is 4 times 3x? Remember, we're looking at multiplying it by the coefficient. What's 4 times 3? Good. 12, I heard, but what do I need with it? An x. And what is 4 times negative 7? Well, what's 4 times 7? 28. Is it positive or negative? Negative, because our signs are different. Now, what do I have to distribute through these parentheses? You got to take the opposite. So the opposite of 30x is negative 30x. And the opposite of 24 is negative 24. So these ones we have to distribute and then combine like terms. So I'm combining a 12x with a negative 30x. So 12 minus 30, you could just put that into your calculator if you needed to, but your signs are different. So you're finding the difference. Big minus little. I can't take 2 from nothing, so I have to borrow. 10 minus 8, 2 is 8. 2 minus 1 is 1. So is this positive or negative? Negative, because our bigger number was negative. And it's negative 18x. Very good. Do not forget your variable term. And now my signs are the same here, so I would find the sum. 28 plus 24. 8 and 4 is 12, so 52. And what do I need between the two of these? Negative, because see, both of our signs were negative. That's why we found the sum. So of course, our answer has to be negative. So this would be the simplified version of that. So again, I'm going to take my second color. Negative 18x minus 52. Negative 8. Remember that it's really, really important that you have good notes for tomorrow. So hopefully you've completed your 5-1, 5-2, 5-3 practice showing your work. This is your review. This has everything you need to know on it. You're not going to color on the test, no. But these are the problems that are going to be on your test, just with different numbers. Some are a little easier than these, but if you can do this. The only other one that you might get a little caught up on is when you're asked about the perimeter. But we did things like that in class, and it's going to give you 3 blanks because there's 3 sides to a triangle, and then you just simplify the expression. So you just combine anything that's a like term and make sure you know what you're doing, right? So this is great review because it's practicing all of those things. Don't forget to distribute the negative. If there's a plus there, you don't need to worry about it. You're just combining like terms, distribute the negative, combine like terms, distribute the negative, just combine like terms, distribute the negative. So after you distribute the negative, then you're combining like terms. Here you got to distribute through, combine like terms, distribute through, distribute the negative, combine like terms, okay? I'll be floating around if you need me, but you've got a good 20 minutes or so to work on that. Can you tell what it's going to be just from this? Nope.